Super. So what I've been thinking about is it's maybe a little heavy in this heavy world that we're in right now. There's an idea that we have in yoga that we are all one, and everybody is sort of equal in this oneness. And that's maybe a little bit problematic for some people right now, because we're seeing so clearly that we live in a system which treats people differently. And so there's a little bit of backlash to this sort of spiritual, we're all one idea being presented too strongly. And I think it's interesting when we look at the yoga texts more specifically, there's actually two ideas. There's Sankalpa, which tells us that we are all one and we are all connected, and there is a wholeness to all humans, or to everything that we experience in the world, that it's all the same stuff, it's all made out of the same material. But then we also have a separate idea, Vikalpa, which is translates maybe more as discernment, which teaches us that we are also all different. And we want to work in our yoga practice on both of those ideas. Sankalpa, this idea of unity or connectivity or oneness, and Vikalpa, discernment, which allows us to see or to tease apart maybe the separate pieces within that one wholeness. So if we think about it in the context of just being on our yoga mats and doing a movement practice, we could say, like, we have this sort of universal idea of triangle pose, right? We know what triangle pose is as a one idea, and we could put all kinds of bodies into that one triangle pose. But when we look at a specific body in triangle pose, we see that body might do things differently than another body does. So we have to see our own unique bodies inside the shape of that universal idea of triangle pose. We could even look at the body itself in triangle pose. So the body is one whole sort of ecosystem, and all the parts of the body are connected. And so what's happening in one part of the body is relevant to what happens in other parts of the body. So this is the Sankalpa idea. We have the whole body doing triangle pose. But then within the body, we see Vikalpa, we discern what's working, what's stretching, what feels good, what feels like it needs a little bit more space. So we're both seeing the whole shape and then also taking the shape apart and seeing the separate pieces. And then, of course, when we get off the mat, we have to continue to do this. We have to see that there is only one universe or world that we all experience, and all of the pieces of that world are connected, and all of us are one thing together. But within that world that we experience, there's a system which treats us differently, and we each have different experiences and different opportunities, and so we have to recognize that there's those diversities within the one whole. So hopefully the practice of seeing our bodies that way helps us to see it on the macro level as well, that both ideas are relevant. We're going to start today in maybe a kneeling position or a hero shape. So you could just kneel onto your heels with the tops of the feet long. That could be one way to find some length in the tops of the feet. Or if you have something block-like, an option might be to bring the knees together and separate the feet so that we can sit on a block that's placed between the feet, and you could turn the height to however high you like. So if you feel like you need a little bit more space in the knees or a little bit less pressure on the tops of the feet, then give yourself more lift. If you feel like you're quite flexible, you could even sit just right onto the floor in between your feet. That's comfortable for a small margin of people. But not for everyone. So just finding something that works for you, that allows you to look for some length in the tops of the feet, a little bit of bend in the knees, maybe some length in your quads. And then we'll just bring the hands onto the thighs or into the lap, and closing your eyes and start to bring your attention inwards. And beginning then right away to see those two ways of looking and understanding yourself. We see the one whole. We see how everything is connected to everything else, and how we are connected to everything that is outside of our bodies. How each of us is connected to each other. But also we begin to look inwards and we begin to see in the internal space what we might start to untangle and tease apart. You can see where the breath moves freely in the body, where the breath encounters blocks, where we might need to give ourselves a little bit more attention or tenderness or love. What parts of the body we've been ignoring or not seeing clearly. So you can just take a few moments here following your breath and just seeing the landscape of yourself. Seeing whatever it is that is there to see. For each of us, that will be a different experience. So I can't tell you exactly what you should feel here or what you should do here even. You have to figure it out for yourself as you become more attuned to your breathing. You might start to find your Ujjayi breaths, or breathing specifically into the back of the throat, and creating some sound in the breathing. Really feeling the breath move into the whole space of your ribs, so breathing into your back ribs, your side ribs, as much as you breathe into your chest. Lifted quality in the chest as you inhale, and letting the face, the shoulders, the hips, maybe the tops of the feet also soften as you exhale, sitting into the folds of the knee creases. And then from here, we'll slowly find our way to all fours and arrive with your knees under your hips and your wrists under your shoulders, moving that block out of the way. If you were sitting on something, you might take a moment here to just kind of wiggle out your toes and give your ankles a little bit of space. Great, and then we'll just move through a few rounds of cat and cow. So we're inhaling to lengthen the belly, lifting the sits bones, lifting the chest. Exhaling to round the back, hugging the belly in, letting the head drop heavy. Inhale again, finding length, seeing if you can draw your heart forward through your arms and kind of drag your hands against the mat towards you. And then exhale, pushing down into the hands, puffing up the whole back body. Just going a few more times, your own smooth rhythm of breathing. And loosening up the length of your spine. Again, really noticing the spine as a whole, but also the individual parts of the spine. How each part of your back feels, where you might create a little bit more space or invite more breath in. Noticing which part of your spine needs the most attention. Okay, then we'll inhale to come back to a neutral spine. And now as you exhale, you can kind of curl to the right, so bringing your right shoulder, your right hip towards each other, looking over that right side, finding some length in your left side body. We'll inhale to come back to center. Exhale, curling into the left, so there's some space in your right side body, a little bit of squeeze in the left. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling it over to the right, hugging in on the right side, lengthening out the left. Inhale, center, nice long neutral spine. Exhale again to the left so that we get that stretching sensation in the right side, opening up the right side ribs. Inhaling back to center. Just one more time each side. Exhaling to the right. Inhale, center. Exhaling left. Inhaling to center. And then from here, we'll walk the hands forward. I'm just resting your forehead down onto the floor so you can start to find some softness around the upper back. If you feel quite mobile in your neck and your shoulders here, you might find that it's comfortable to bring your chin to the floor instead of your forehead. Just doing what feels available to you. It gives you lots of space. Breathing into the wide base of your pelvis. You can kind of press your knees outwards as you inhale, so the sits bones spread apart. And then as you exhale, so you can really let the rib cage drop down. So there's some length in the belly. Again, that softening around the upper back. Good, and then we'll walk the hands back in. So again, arriving at all fours. From here, we'll step the right foot back, tucking the toes under, so we're placing the ball of the right foot to the floor. You can stretch back through the ball of your right foot and forward through the heart, so a little bit of length in the back of the right leg. A few breaths here, and really pressing firmly down through the hands. Wider space in your upper back so that the shoulders are stable on the back. So you can feel that the shoulder blades are spreading apart. And then we'll pick up that right foot and step it over to the left, so the outside edge of your mat over to the left. Again, pressing back through the ball of the foot, reaching forward through the heart, and now curling again to the left for a long stretch through your right side body. Looking over your left shoulder, hugging the left shoulder towards the left hip. You can feel that little bit of squeeze in the left side as we open up the right. And then we'll come back to center, taking that right leg straight behind you, parallel to the floor. As you exhale, you can curl your right knee into your chest, rounding through the back. Inhale to reach the right leg straight back behind you. Exhale again, knee to chest, rounding in. Inhaling, right leg reaching back, parallel to the floor. One more time, exhaling to round into center. And inhaling to reach the right leg back. Good. Now as you exhale, bringing the sole of the right foot up towards the ceiling, bending your right knee, so we're lifting the right thigh. As you inhale, see if you can lift that right thigh higher to open up the hip crease. Exhale, again, knee into the chest, rounding. Inhale, right leg reaching straight back behind you. Exhale to bend the knee. Inhale to press up through the sole of the foot, opening up the right hip crease, keeping the hip square. One more time, exhale, rounding in. Inhale, right leg straight back. Exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, press up with the foot to lift the right thigh. Stay here for a moment. Lean your weight into your right hand. See now if you can take your left hand back behind you and find the top of your right foot. You can push the foot into the hand, lift the thigh a little bit higher. And drawing the heart forward, lift your chest, lift your gaze. Moving into a long back bend shape, keeping that right thigh lifted, pulling the ribs forward so there's some space in the center body. And then continuing to draw up through the center of the heart. And then we'll exhale to release. Left hand to the floor. Step your right foot back. We'll step the left foot back as well, moving into plank. And then from here, lowering your way down, maybe all the way, maybe just to chaturanga. And we're going to inhale to come to a cobra, or maybe something more like an upward dog. And then exhaling to take your hips up and back, moving into downward dog. I'm just taking a few breaths here, getting comfy in this first downward dog. You can bend your knees or rock your hips, anything that feels good for you, anything that allows you to settle in. And then we bring the knees back down to the floor. And step your left foot back. Take a moment here with the ball of the foot to your mat, just pressing back through the heel, finding some space in the back of your left leg, lengthening forward through the heart. Again, the shoulder blades nice and wide on the back so we feel stable in the shoulders, able to really press down through the hands to support your weight. And then we'll pick up that left leg, step it over to the right on the outside of your mat. Again, ball of the foot rooting, reaching forward through the heart, and then curling to the right side, finding length in the left side. A few steady breaths here. And then we'll come back to center, picking up that left leg, reaching it straight back behind you. Exhale to draw the knee into the chest, rounding through the back. Inhale, left leg straight back. Exhale, again, knee into the chest, rounding, leaning weight forward into your hands. Inhale, reaching back. And once more, exhale, knee to chest, rounding. Inhale to reach your left leg back. Exhale, sole of the left foot up, bending your left knee. And then as you inhale, press up through the foot to lift the left thigh higher. Exhale again, knee into chest, rounding. Inhale, left leg reaching straight back. Exhale, bending the knee, the sole of the foot up. Inhale to lift the left thigh higher, keeping the hips square. Exhale, knee into the chest, rounding. Once more, inhale, left leg straight back. Exhale, bending the knee. Inhale to lift the left thigh, leaning your weight into your left hand. Reach your right hand back to find your left foot. Pushing the foot into the hand, seeing if you can lift the left thigh a little bit higher. Draw the heart forward, lifting up through the center of the heart and that left thigh. So you can create a long back bend. And then thinking about how we're reaching the ribs away from the hips so that even as we move into a back bend shape, which is a narrowing of the low back, we look for some space in the low back so that it doesn't feel too cramped. And then we'll exhale to release, right hand to the floor, stepping your left foot back, stepping your right foot back, again arriving in plank. And just moving through your own comfortable flow. We'll meet in downward dog. So however you like to get there, squeaky mat. Good. And then again, just taking a moment in downward dog, seeing if we can find the unity of this shape. So noticing how all the pieces connect together to create a unified experience. But then also noticing the separate parts that create that unity. So we feel the hands rooting into the floor, the inner edges of the hands particularly meeting the mat, the shoulders spreading wide on the back to give us a little bit more support, and connect the arm strength to the core strength. And then really sending your hips up as high as you're able so we can lengthen out the torso, keeping the hips reaching up high, sending your heels down away from the hips for length in the backs of the legs. And we'll notice where the pieces come together and it feels good. And we also notice where there's a little bit more work. And then again, that's different for each of us. Some piece might not quite be fitting in, or we might feel a tightness or a weakness that needs a little bit more of our attention, a little bit more effort. And we'll slowly walk the feet forward towards the hands, coming to an easeful forward fold, a little bit of bend in the knees, or even a lot of bend in the knees if you like. And letting yourself dangle here. And then inhaling to come halfway up, reaching your ribs forward, lengthening out the torso. Exhale to sink back down, head nice and heavy. Inhale again, halfway up, reaching the ribs forward. Exhaling to settle back down. And one more time, inhaling to reach your ribs forward. And exhaling to settle back down. And then keeping some bend in the knees as you inhaling, slowly roll up towards standing, head and arms nice and heavy until the very end. And just coming to a good tall stance. Rooting through the feet, reaching your tailbone down, hugging the belly in, lifting the heart, spreading your shoulders out nice and wide. And next inhale, we'll reach the arms back up, stretching tall. Exhale, folding forward, bringing the hands towards the floor. And inhale, halfway up, reach your ribs forward. Exhale, softening back down. We'll step the right foot back and place your right knee down to your mat. You can take padding under the knee if you need. We're going to stay here for a moment. So I'm going to sweep the arms up, coming into a low lunge, letting the hips sink low. And then seeing if we can start to hug up from the floor. So left heel, right knee draw in towards each other. The inner thighs draw in towards each other. The belly hugs in so that we're able to lift the ribs away from your hips and really draw your belly away from your left thigh. So as we're growing taller here, we might feel more of the space in the right hip crease. At the same time, every time you're exhaling, still see if you can find the softening qualities, the rooting qualities of the shape. So the shoulders, the hips continue to sink down, even as we draw in and up through the belly and the ribs. And the more precise we are in sculpting the specific pieces of this pose, the more we get into that stretch in the right hip crease. So through effort, we can actually create more of a sensation of stretch and more flexibility in the body. And try not to make it too passive. And then we'll exhale to bring the hands down to the floor and straighten the right leg, press the mat away from you, stepping back to plank. Again, just following your own path to downward dog, whatever that is for you. And then we'll inhale to reach the right leg up and back. Exhale to hug the knee into the chest, step the right foot forward towards your hands. Bringing your left knee down to the mat. Again, you could take patting under the knee if you like it, even just by simply folding up your mat. And from here, we'll reach the arms up alongside the ears, finding the low lunge, letting the hips settle, letting the shoulders soften, so connecting with your weight in this shape. And then looking for that effort that allows us to also be buoyant away from the floor. So right foot, left knee hug in, inner thighs hug in, belly draws in, the ribs lift, the heart grows tall, the arms stretch up. All of that lift allows us to feel more of the space in the left hip crease. Just take a few breaths here. Again, seeing how each breath can connect to shift or change in the body. The exhales giving us the settling feeling and the hug in the core. The inhales allowing us to use that hug to grow taller, to reach taller. And then we'll exhale to bring the hands back down to the floor. You can step your left foot forward to meet the right. Inhaling halfway up. Exhaling to sink back down. Inhaling here, long spine, come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms up to the ceiling, nice tall stretch. Exhaling, hands to the center of the chest. And inhaling again, reaching your arms up tall. Exhaling to fold forward, hands towards the floor. Inhaling halfway up, ribs reaching forward. Exhale, softening down. We'll step the left foot back. This time, high lunge on your inhale, so keeping that back leg strong. Come up nice and tall. We might start with some bend in the left knee, good bend in the right knee, but a little bit of bend in the left knee as well. And then that allows us to tilt the pelvis, so we can reach the tailbone down, hug the belly in, find that same quality of stretch through the left hip crease. From there, perhaps straightening your left leg out again without tilting the pelvis forward. So slowly hugging the belly away from the right thigh. Nice tall reach up through the arms. Good, we're gonna exhale the twist to the right. So reach your left arm forward, right arm back, arms out about shoulder height. Still sitting the hips low, wide spread out through your arms. Grow taller as you inhale. A little bit more twist on the exhale. And then we'll take the right hand down to the back of the left thigh. Inhale, reach your left arm alongside your left ear, stretching again right into that left hip crease. As you exhale, inner thighs hug the midline to hold steady as we windmill the hands down to the floor. From there, stepping back to plank. Again, your path to downward dog. And then we'll inhale to reach the left leg up and back. Exhale, draw the knee into the chest, step the left foot forward. Inhaling to come up into your high lunge, letting the shoulders and the hips settle. Maybe finding that bend in your right knee to start so that we can guide the torso back so it's really centered over your hips. Feel that tilting in the pelvis to reach your tailbone down and lift the front of the pelvis away from the left thigh. And then from there, maybe we straighten out the left leg without re-tilting the belly forward. So still centering back over your hips, growing straight up out of the hips. And then as you exhale, twisting to the left, right arm forward, left arm back, parallel to the floor. Nice wide reach out through the arms. Grow tall up through the crown of the head as you inhale. A little bit more twist as you exhale. Taking your left hand down to the back of your right thigh, we'll inhale the right arm alongside the right ear. Nice stretch all the way into the right hip crease. And then exhaling and steady through your legs as you windmill your hands down to the floor. Stepping your right foot forward to meet the left. Inhaling halfway up. Exhaling, sinking back down. Pressing into the feet, inhaling to come all the way up, reaching up nice and tall. Exhaling, hands to the center of the chest. And we'll inhale to reach the arms back up, stretch tall. Exhale, folding forward, hands to the floor. Inhaling halfway up, the ribs reaching forward. Exhaling to plant your hands, stepping or hopping back, finding again your path to downward dog. And it's really following your own rhythm of breathing. So there's no rush in arriving. And then we'll inhale to reach the right leg up and back. Exhale, knee into the chest, stepping your right foot forward, bringing your left foot flat to the floor. Inhale to come up, warrior one, reaching your arms up nice and tall. I'm gonna exhale to bend the elbows, so creating a cactus shape with your arms, and grab the air with your fingers, so you kind of feel like you have a pull-up bar or something between your hands. As you inhale, you hug your heart up towards that imaginary pull-up bar, so you feel the shoulder blades connect to the back. And we'll exhale to move into warrior two, the arms out, shoulder height. And inhaling here to reverse warrior, right side body nice and long. And then exhaling to windmill the hands down to the floor, stepping back to plank, moving with your own breath, your path to downward dog. And inhaling to reach the left leg up and back. Exhale the knee into the chest, stepping the left foot forward, right foot flat to the floor, arms up, warrior one on your inhale. Exhaling, bending your elbows, again making that cactus shape with your arms, grabbing with the fingers. As you inhale, you scrape down through the fingers, lift the heart up high, so shoulder blades hugging against the back. Exhaling into warrior two, arms out, shoulder height, sit the hips nice and low. Keep that good bend in your left knee. Inhaling, reverse warrior, the left side body long. And then exhaling to windmill the hands down to the floor, stepping back to plank. Again, your own path to downward dog. Creating some warmth and looseness in the spine here by moving through these flows. Great. And we'll inhale to reach the right leg up and back. Exhale, draw the knee into the chest, step the right foot forward towards your hands. Left foot flat to the floor. Inhaling to come up, warrior one. Exhaling, bending your elbows, finding that cactus shape in your arms, grabbing with the fingers. Inhale to scrape down through the fingers, lift the heart up high. Now we'll shift weight into the right foot, moving into warrior three. Left leg up, parallel to the floor if you can. So you can really draw up through the inner line of your left leg. And then again, we scrape back through the fingers to pull the heart forward, and lifting a little bit through the chest. And then we'll bend the right knee, slow step back, moving into warrior two, arms out, shoulder height. Now you can straighten your right leg. Inhale to reach your right arm as far forward as you're able, and then exhale, right arm coming down, left arm coming up, moving into triangle pose. So seeing how you can sort this shape out for yourself in the most useful way possible. Making sure that you have length and freedom in your spine, in your breath. So maybe we come relatively far down with that right hand. Maybe we stay up quite high with the right hand to give yourself as much space as you need. Right hip drawing back, the heart pulling forward. Really try and lengthen out the belly here so that we're not curling into this shape. And you see how you can organize it so that it doesn't feel cramped. And then we'll inhale to come slowly back up. Exhaling to bend the right knee, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, the right arm sweeping back. Exhaling to bring the right hand down to the floor or your block, or maybe your right forearm to your right thigh. Left arm comes alongside your left ear. Extended side angle. Keeping the right knee bent nice and deep. Hug your right hip under your torso. Roll your left side ribs open. Breathing fully into the left side body. Nice wide space through the ribs, the side waist. And then we'll exhale, both hands down to the floor. You can frame your right foot. Tuck your left toes under. And inhale to reach the right leg up and back, coming into a down dog split. Lift your left heel here, so we're on the ball of the left foot, and then bend your left knee a little bit. We'll just give us some more space in the left hamstring. We're now going to bend the right knee, keeping the hips square. And then see if you can send your right thigh high up into space. So really lifting through the right thigh. Again, the hips are square. So go straight up with that right foot. And now we're going to pull the heart forward and also lift through the chest and push up through the back of the head. It's like you imagine you want to connect your right foot and the back of the head in space behind you. And there are people in the world who can actually do it. I am not one of them, especially not in my current pregnant state. Good. From here, we'll inhale again to reach that right leg straight up and back, and then exhale to bring the right foot down so that we're in downward dog. Your choice, you can stay here, or again, we'll ripple through a flow. So we're inhaling to come into plank, exhaling to lower, inhaling cobra or upward dog, exhaling downward dog, or whatever your version of the flow is. Good, then we'll inhale to reach the left leg up and back. Exhale, knee into the chest, stepping the left foot forward, right foot flat to the floor. Inhaling to come up, warrior one. Exhaling to bend your elbows, cactus arms. Inhaling to scrape down with the fingers, lifting the heart. Exhale, shifting your weight into your left foot. Seeing if we can float that right leg up, lifting especially through the inner right thigh, and then really scraping back through the fingers to pull the heart forward, lifting the chest. Good. Slow bending your left knee, stepping back, warrior two, arms out, shoulder height. And then we'll straighten that left leg. Inhale to reach your left arm as far forward as you're able. Exhaling, left arm down, right arm up for triangle pose. And taking some steady breaths here. And again, just seeing how the shape makes sense for you. You can play with the alignment in any way that you need to. Looking for lots of space in your spine, lots of room for your breath. You might come lower, you might come higher. Maybe you can find a small feeling of a twist here, so we kind of roll the right side ribs open to spread the heart. Good, then pressing down through your feet, inhaling to come back up. Exhaling, bending your left knee, warrior two. And inhaling, reverse warrior. And exhaling, the left forearm to thigh or left hand to the floor, or maybe to that block that you had kicking around. We'll reach the right arm forward alongside the right ear. Taking slow, steady breaths here. You can bend in the left knee, left hip hugging under the body, right side ribs rolling open. Rooting through your outer right foot and stretching your right fingers away from that root. Just really good full breath. Good, then we'll exhale both hands down to the floor and frame your left foot. Tuck your right toes under. Inhale to reach your left leg up and back. So we come into a down dog split. Bending your right knee, be on the ball of your right foot here. So you can lift that left leg higher, and we're gonna bend the left knee and then keep pressing up through the ball of the left foot. Again, the hips are square, so more effort in lifting the inner line of your leg to resist the tendency to open the hips. And then as much as you're able, lifting that left thigh, start to bring your heart forward a little bit and then push up with the back of the head. And imagine you could, in some lifetime in the future, connect your left foot and the back of your head together in space behind you. And then we'll inhale to reach that left leg straight up and back. Exhale, stepping it down to downward dog. And then your choice, stay as you are, or again, rippling through some kind of flow, whatever movements you like, as long as they're flowy, as long as they're connected to your breathing. And again, inhaling to reach your right leg up and back. Exhale, knee into the chest, stepping the right foot forward, left foot flat to the floor. Inhaling to come up, warrior one. Exhaling to bend your elbows, cactus arms. Inhale to scrape down through the fingers, lift the heart. Exhale, leaning your weight into your right foot, floating that left leg up, parallel to the floor. Good. And then seeing again if we can scrape back through the fingers and pull the heart forward. From here, find some softness in your right knee. You're just going to start to come up towards standing, bending the left knee so that the foot comes up behind you, and then reaching with your left foot to find either reaching with your left hand to find either the outside or the inside of your left foot. Right arm reaching up. You start to press that left foot up and back into your left hand. Lean your chest a little bit forward, but not too much. I'm going to stay relatively upright here, so that the main thrust of this shape is to float away from the floor. So you push really strongly down through that right foot, and then everything else is going up. Your left thigh, center of the chest, the reach up through the right arm. Good. And then we'll slowly release and step back into warrior two, arms out shoulder height, wider space across the front of the pelvis. Straightening your right leg, you can now turn your right toes to the left. So we're angling the toes slightly in. We'll bring the hands to the hips. Inhale, lifting the center of the chest. Exhaling to fold forward, taking your hands to the floor. You can place your right hand under your face. We'll bring the left hand to the low back. See if you can reach the ribs forward, so get long through your torso. And then as you exhale, you can start to turn, so the left shoulder rolling open without unsquaring the hip. Some effort in lifting that right hip. Maybe from here, you're reaching your left arm up towards the ceiling. You're spreading both arms out wide. If that doesn't feel good, you could just keep the left hand to the low back. So the turn is really coming from the center body. The arms are just an extension, an expression of that deeper internal shape. Nice slow breaths again here. Noticing where you need more space, where you need more care in your body, where we need more effort. And then how all of those pieces come together to form the whole. Good. We'll exhale to bring the left hand down. Inhale to reach your ribs forward. Exhale the hands to the hips. Inhaling to come up to standing, turning your right toes forward, bending your right knee, arms out, warrior two. We'll inhale to reverse warrior, the right arm back. Exhaling, forearm to thigh or hand to the floor, lock, reaching your left arm alongside your left ear. In a moment in this extended side angle shape, stretching out through your left side body. And then we'll bring the hands down to the floor again, framing the right foot. Tucking your left toes under, inhaling to reach your right leg up and back. A little bit of bend in the left knee, so we're on the ball of the left foot so that we can really reach the right thigh up high, bending your right knee and lifting the inner line of the leg so the hips are square. Heart pulls forward, push up with the back of your head, reach up with that right foot. And then from here, we're gonna bring the left knee down to the floor. And then just see if you can reach that right leg a little bit higher. Good. Keeping your hands rooted and your elbows aligned over your wrists. Start to bring your heart forward and see if you can place your chest and your chin down onto the floor. So the elbows are still lifted in space, just on the hands, the heart, the chin, and then pick up that right leg a little bit higher. Good. Then we're going to bring both legs down long behind you. Inhaling into a cobra or getting off your belly if you need to. And then exhaling to take your hips up and back, moving into downward dog. Good. Inhaling to reach the left leg up and back. Exhale, knee into the chest, step the left foot forward, right foot flat to the floor. Arms up on the inhale, warrior one. Exhale, bending your elbows, cactus arms. Inhale, scraping down with the fingers, lifting the heart. Exhale, leaning into your left foot, right leg lifting, warrior three. Again, see if you can scrape back through the fingers, pull the heart forward, so the back body active. And then there's some softness in the left knee as you move, lifting the chest. Right foot comes up behind you, reaching with your right hand either for the outside or the inside of that right foot. Left arm reaches up. And start to tilt a little bit forward with the chest, and then really pick up that right foot into your right hand. Lift the right thigh. Make sure you stay square through your hips here. Left foot shooting down into the floor. Everything else lifting up away from the earth. So heart high, lifting up that right thigh, reaching up through your left fingers. And then we'll slowly release. Some bend in your left knee. Nice big step back into warrior two. Arms out, shoulder height. And then we'll straighten the left leg, turn the left toes into the right. Again, toes angle slightly in, hands to your hips. Inhale, lift the center of the chest. Exhaling to fold. This time placing your left hand under your face, right hand to your low back. Reach the heart forward and start to roll your right side ribs open, keeping that long space in your spine and this even shape in your hips, really lifting the left hip especially to keep it level with the right. And then either we stay as we are, or maybe you start to reach your right arm up towards the ceiling, spreading the arms out wide. Just taking a few big breaths wherever you've landed here. You can find space in the backs of the legs, lengthen your spine, room in your torso for that twisting shape. And then we'll exhale the right hand back down towards the floor. Inhale to reach the heart forward. Exhale, hands to your hips. Inhaling to come up slowly. Exhaling, warrior two, arms out, shoulder height. Inhaling, reverse the left arm long alongside the left ear. And then exhale, forearm to thigh or hand to the floor. Again, moving into your version of the extended side angle. Long space in your right side body. Rolling your right side ribs open. And then we'll exhale. Both hands come down to the floor, framing that left foot. Tuck your right toes under. Inhale, the left leg reaching up and back. Good. On the ball of your right foot, lifting your right heel, a little bit of bend in the right knee. Bend your left knee. Lift your left thigh as high as you can. Draw your heart forward. Push up with the back of your head. Again, imagining you could connect your foot and your head behind you. Good. And then we'll slowly drop the right knee down to the floor. So we're keeping that left thigh lifted. And then making sure your elbows stay aligned over your wrists. Bending the elbows, leaning your chest forward so that you can bring your chest and your chin down to the floor so the elbows are still off of your mat. Lifting your left thigh here a little bit higher. And then we'll exhale, both legs down, reaching back through the big toes. Inhaling into a cobra shape. And exhaling, hips up and back, downward dog. Good. Just moving through one more round. We'll inhale to reach the right leg up and back. Exhale, knee into the chest, step the right foot forward. Left foot flat to the floor. Inhale up, warrior one. Exhale, bending the elbows, cactus arms. Scraping down through the fingers, lift the heart on your inhale. Exhale, weight into your right foot, leaning into warrior three. Scraping back through the fingers, pulling the heart forward. Softness in your right knee, bring up the torso, bend the left knee, reaching now with both hands to see if you can find the top of your left foot. And then we'll push the foot up into both hands as you reach the heart forward. So maybe a little bit more of a stretch through the inner lines of the shoulders here. Got some softness in that right knee. Big step back into warrior two, arms out, shoulder height. We'll inhale here to reverse warrior, the right arm sweeping back. Exhale, bringing your right hand in front and to the right of your right foot, or find that block again even if you'd like. Floating now into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Left leg parallel to the floor, reaching your left arm up towards the sky. And then either staying as you are here, or maybe bending your left knee and reaching with your left hand to find your left foot. So we can turn this into a kind of dancer's pose within the half moon, dancing on the half moon. So thrusting down through that right foot, lifting the inner left thigh, lengthening out through the belly, reaching your heart forward. Maybe you're really kicking that left foot up into your left hand. And then we'll bend the right knee, slow step back into warrior two. Inhale to reverse warrior, the right side body long. Exhale, hands down to the floor, framing your right foot, tuck your left toes under. Inhale, right leg up and back, down dog split. Lifting your left heel, bending your right knee, lifting your right thigh as high as you can. Pull the heart forward, push up with the back of the head. Good. And then from here, we'll slowly bring the left knee down to the floor. Planting your hands firmly, elbows aligned over your wrist. Bring your heart forward so that you can lower chest and chin to the floor. Pick up your right thigh, and now see if you can pick up your left foot and park your left foot under your right thigh. And just hanging here for a moment with that support from your left foot. Really let your heart melt down. Good, and then again, we'll release the left foot from under the right leg. Both legs lengthening out behind you, inhaling into a cobra shape, and exhaling, downward dog. Inhaling to reach your left leg up and back. Exhale, knee into the chest, step the left foot forward, right foot flat to the floor. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, bending the elbows. Inhale, scraping down through the fingers, lift the heart. Exhale, weight into your left foot. Right leg moving up into space. Again, scraping down through the fingers, pull the heart forward. A little bend in your left knee, bending the right knee, reaching with both hands to find the top of your right foot. Maybe you can kind of loop the fingers around the foot, and then we start to pick the chest up, pick the right foot up into the hands, kind of pushing back with the foot. So a little bit more stretch through the inner shoulders here as you take your heart forward and up. And then slowly releasing. Careful step back into warrior two. And I'll inhale here to reverse warrior, the left side body long. Exhaling, left hand in front and to the left of your left foot, bringing your weight into your left foot to float into a half moon shape. Right arm reaching up for the ceiling. And again, you might just stay here, or you might bend your right knee, reach with your right hand for your right foot, and then see if you can, again, kind of push the foot up into the hand, picking up the inner thigh. Wherever you are, looking for some length in your torso, space in the heart. Good, and then we'll slowly release. Big step back, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, one last time. Exhale, hands windmilling down to the floor, framing your left foot, tuck your right toes under. Inhale, the left leg lifts up and back, down dog split. Lifting your right heel, bending your left knee, lifting your left thigh as high as you're able. Draw your heart forward, push up with the back of the head. And then we'll exhale, right knee down to the mat. Positioning your hands under your elbows, lowering your chest forward and down. So you can rest chest and chin to the floor. Pick up that left thigh, pick up your right foot. See if you can park the right foot under your left thigh. And just for a moment here, a few breaths. It's really hard to talk in this shape. And then we'll pick up the left thigh to release the right foot, lengthening both legs back to the mat. Reach the tops of the feet. Inhale, lengthening out the belly, lift the chest. And exhaling, downward dog, hips up and back. And then from here, we'll bring the knees down to the floor, moving into child's pose. And I would suggest, if you're able, having the knees relatively close together. Not an option for me. But maybe you can kind of come into the child's pose shape with your belly really resting onto your thighs, which creates a bit more roundness in the back as a nice counter to the back bend we've been doing. But of course, setting your knees as far apart as you need to. And then we're just resting the torso down onto or between the thighs, resting the forehead to the floor. A few slow breaths here. You might bring your arms back by your hips if that's comfortable. So we could let the shoulders sort of round forward as well. And just breathing into this balloon shape of your back body. And then we'll inhale to come slowly up to a seat. And you can take your hips off to one side, bringing your legs forward. And we'll keep the left leg out long, pull the right knee in towards the chest, and then take the right foot to the outside of the left leg. Sit up tall, bring your right hand behind you. Inhale the left arm up. Exhaling to turn to the right. I'm going to go the other way. but bringing your left arm in some connection with your right leg. And sitting up nice and tall as you're inhaling, turning more to the right as you're exhaling. And just taking a few steady breaths here, again feeling that long fluid space in your spine. And noticing once more the whole quality of the spine, and also each of the individual pieces of the spine. Where do you need more space? Where do you need more softness? Where do you need more support? Good, we'll come back to center. You might take a little counter twist to the left if you like. And then turning your heart forward. And now take the right foot in towards the inner line of your left leg. So you might widen the angle of the legs a little bit so your heel can come even right in towards the groin. Sitting up tall, turning your chest in the direction of your left leg. We'll inhale to reach the arms up, and then exhale, folding over that left leg. And just let your hands fall wherever they comfortably fall. We'll take a few steady breaths here. And then this forward fold. So it doesn't have to be the most extreme forward fold you've ever done. Think more of it as just a nice counter to the back bending, so we can find a different experience in the spine, lengthening through the low back, maybe allowing there to be a little bit of roundness here, so we could let the head kind of soften down so the back of the neck can relax. And then we'll inhale to slowly come back up. And then changing sides. So right leg forward, hugging the left knee in towards you so the hips are, again, kind of square. Left foot to the outside of the right leg. You can sit up nice and tall. Left hand behind you. We'll inhale to reach the right arm up. And then exhale, continuing to turn to the left. Unless that doesn't work for you, in which case we turn to the right. Just seeing if we can find, again, this lengthening quality on the inhale, and then the turning on the exhale. And full awareness of your spine as separate pieces and as a unified whole. And turn back towards center, maybe turning to the right for a moment if you like that little counter twist. And then again, heart forward, bringing the left foot to the inner line of your right leg. So you can kind of widen the angle of the legs a little bit, maybe get that left heel right in towards your groin. And then turn your chest in the direction of your right leg. Inhale to reach your arms up, exhaling to fold, and just letting your hands fall wherever they comfortably fall, draping your torso over that right leg. Allow there to be softness wherever you need it, so maybe bending your right knee if that's what's best for you. And seeing if you can look around in your own experience and see how you need to sculpt this pose so that it works, so that it gives you the most sense of space and the most sense of freedom. And then we'll inhale to come slowly back up. And place the soles of the feet to the floor. Just make sure you're in the middle of your mat. And we'll ease our way down onto the back. And bringing the feet to the mat, maybe about hip width apart. I guess it doesn't really matter. And then from here, we'll just keep the left foot rooted. I'm going to pick up the right foot and cross the right ankle just above your left knee. So moving into this thread the needle shape or reclined pigeon. And start to bring your left thigh in towards you. We'll reach the right arm between the legs, left hand around to the outside, and just cupping the back of your thigh or the left shin. Letting the shoulders and the head stay nice and relaxed here. Breathing into the outer right hip or wherever it is that you feel the tug of this shape. Especially seeing if we can create some space around the back of the pelvis. Any of the areas that we've been curling into in the low back. Good, and then you can slowly release the left foot. Bring the right foot back to the floor. Changing sides, left ankle crossing over your right knee. Drawing the right thigh in towards you. The hands cupping the back of your right thigh or around your right shin. Use your inhales to help continue to guide that left knee just gently away from your body. Exhaling to fold the right thigh gently in towards you. And slowly increasing the stretch. And keeping the shoulders, the arms, the head relaxed. Seeing if we can find more of the sensation, more of the work of this shape around the outer left hip, the back of the pelvis, the low back. Maybe the inner left leg is also feeling some sensation. And then we slowly release that and place the feet back to the floor. And then we'll gather both knees in towards the chest. Hands or your arms around your shins and rock a little bit side to side here. So really gently massaging your back against the mat. And then releasing your legs and finding your way into Shavasana, however you like to get there. So the legs might be straight or knees bent, especially if you feel sensation in the low back. It might be nice to have your feet to the floor or the knees supported so there's some bend in the knees. And relaxing the shoulders and the head heavily into the mat. Again, connecting here with the sense of your own weight. Letting all of your weight drop into the floor. Let me see if we can let all parts of the body now be equally soft. Let go of any effort in your mental space to connect or divide. So we let go of any thinking effort and simply allow the effects of the practice to settle in the body. The intellect can only take us so far, and then at some point we have to just simply rest and allow the body to know. Without the interference of the thinking mind. Just taking a few more quiet moments here. And then you can begin to wake yourself back up. So you're coming back into that sense of your own individual body, your own individual experience. Maybe you're finding small movements in your fingers and your toes. Reaching your arms up alongside your ears. Take an inhale to stretch out through the toes, back through the fingers. And then we'll exhale to bend the knees, roll onto your right side. And find your way slowly up to a comfortable seat. So whatever seated shape you like. And just take a moment here with the eyes closed, your attention turned in towards yourself. Noticing once more how we are apart, how we are together. That both of those viewpoints or ways of looking at the world are relevant and important. And then bringing your hands together at the center of your chest, you can thank yourself for your efforts today. I'd like to close with an Om, so you can do that softly at home or loudly, depending on who else might be lurking around. So just take a big full breath in through the nose, breathing right into sound. Namaste.